Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman Raw. So today we're going to be doing the candy stage on this Mazda 3 Soul Red Crystal. So yeah, haven't done one of these for a while, so it'll be a bit of fun to do. But yeah, as you can see here, I mentioned it in the end of the previous video, but what I've done is I've like triple masked it. So you mask the first layer, and then you do the smooth transition tape, and then you do another one, but I peeled that first layer of smooth transition tape off. These take a bloody long time to mask. The amount of extra time it takes to mask to do it this way compared to the way that I used to, it is incredible, like so much longer than you would think, because you've got to mask it 3 times. I think it took me about 4 hours to mask this job yesterday, which is look, realistically, it's not crazy long time, but for my standards, it's a long time. Like, I'm actually generally pretty fast at the masking. Just stay there for a second, guys. I'm gonna put this respirator on. Hold that thought. This is just what you got to put up with on the Gunman Raw channel. Top quality content right here. Yeah, so I'm using the Starter CC. Well, not, I don't know. I have a bit of a reputation back in the day for being a Starter hater, but I don't hate Starter. I just think that they're Starter 4000 particularly weren't that good. 5000 they did start improving. And yeah, Starter CC, I love it. This is my candy gun, man. I'll tell you what. Anyway, let's get into it. I'll just start talking as we're painting, whatever comes to mind. But yeah, what I've started doing is because this gun does not pump as much material on as the Pro Light, right? So what I found is, with the Pro Light, I was going just one coat of candy on the edges, but when I tried doing that with this gun, they were sort of see-through. Like, they didn't look right. So I ended up having to put 2 coats even on the edges when I'm using this gun. I've even done the double mask, or triple mask. Yeah, triple mask inside all the rear jams here. So all of that, the wet on wet and the base coat edge gets covered, and then you remove that next layer, and then it gets cleared over. Look, edges are my boss's thing, right? So I'll be honest, I cracked the poo-poos one day. Oh man, why's that pressure going down? I wanted $2. I set that before, what's going on with that? I want $2 after trigger pull. Yeah, no, one day, because like the girls, like my boss has got a few daughters, and they check over the quality, they do the, the quality control, I guess, and they're just picking on one of these cars, and I'm like, man, I spend all this time on it. I thought it was actually pretty good, so I cracked the poo-poos. I went home early one day, and I come in the next day and I said, mate, we're painting the jam. And the boss said, just do it then. No mucking around. So that's actually one thing I do love about my boss. He doesn't muck around. He's like, mate, if that's going to make for a better job, I don't care if it takes you an extra day. He really doesn't. You know, this job here, potentially I probably could have painted it yesterday, right? Instead, I prepped it up and got it ready for today. So, look, hey, he puts his money where his mouth is. Like that kind of cost him money, but he does care about the quality of the job. And that's one thing that you've got to remember, man. Like, I'm guilty of it. As you get older, you sort of stop caring as much. But yeah, when you're younger, like, you take so much pride in your work that when people criticize it, you take it personally. But it's not. It's like, hey, it's only personal if they make it personal, but generally it's not, you know? It depends. Hey, you could be working with an arsehole, and maybe they make it personal. When they start picking on you, yeah, like, it can get a bit much, but yeah. It's generally not an issue I've had, to be honest, like excessive picking on me. Like I've had, or maybe I have had it, but I'm generally like a high energy, high effort. Like I think that's key too. Like I put the effort in, and that always gets noticed, you know. When you're the guy that consistently works through your lunch break every day for years, you're not just doing it to brown nose. You're doing it because you just want to get the work done. Like I'm not here. I was thinking about that relatively recently. I'm not here to collect a paycheck and kill time. I'm here to get a job done. First and foremost. There's a totally different mindset than many people. They come here to fill in 8 hours. I'm not saying here specifically, but they come to work to fill in 8 hours to kill time, and they don't want to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm here to do a job. So I'm going to get that job done as good as I can, as fast as I can, so I can get on to the next one. So I mixed up 2.2 litres of this candy. And like I say, we'll give it a 10-minute bake, 70 degrees. I've tried all the different baking times. Oh man, I'll tell you what, I've been through a lot on these. I landed on a wicked procedure at the end. But yeah, I was sort of struggling, I'll be honest. Oh man, these nearly broke me. They did at the start. I just couldn't understand why they weren't coming up good, but yeah, many trial and error, I guess. So yeah, 2 bar after trigger pull. Have a look at that fan though, man. It's just perfect. Even, big, precise. Very precise. I actually don't use this gun that often, but I always use it for candy. It's one of those ones that I won't sell. Next week I'll probably sell it. You may notice I also staggered the doors, like I left the rear doors out, right, and then the front doors in. That helps me get around the edges. That's another thing that I only came up with like relatively recently. I came up with that one when I was doing the patrols. And then I'll probably give this like, after I've done the final coat of clear, I don't like to overdo it. I found you don't want to hit it with too much heat too fast, because again that can leave the clear to sort of die back a little bit. That's the first coat. Gonna slow down a little bit on the second coat, not too much. Just super even. Starter CC, the best candy gun on the market for my money. Turn the pressure down on the roof a little bit. Get it on a bit thicker. Save a bit of paint because you get too much overspray if you go full high pressure on like flat panels. Nice even coat. Go-Go Gadget bloody arms, man, I'll tell you what, I could do with a bit of that. Stretched Armstrong. Because you don't want to lean into your cant rail. Don't want to forget to turn that pressure back up once you finish your roof. I did that once. Oops. Oh yeah, that's another good point. You know how I can do a job like this without making many mistakes? Because I've made them all already. And I've learned from them. Just about any stupid thing that you can think of, come come to spray painting, I've probably already done it. Churning through that clear, I'll tell you what, that's nearly 800 mils or 850 just on this second coat, just on the body. You gotta use it, man. That's what I've always said, like I don't mind using it, just don't throw it out. If you like, this is what I always say, if you want to use 2 litres where I use 1.5, that doesn't bother me. Just don't tip out 500 mil. Or at least do your best to minimise your wastage. Look, I've done it before, don't get me wrong, but then you've got to readjust your formula of how much you use per panel, you know. Again, I've made all the mistakes. But on the other hand, like, you can go too far with like scrimping and saving on material. You've got to use what you've got to use, man. Like, you know, and even little things like the masking inside that edge, this smooth transition tape. You get 5 rolls for, I think it was like $70 or $80. So yes, it's expensive, but it makes like the, well, for one, the job has to pay for it, right? If there's not enough margin in it to use the good quality product, well then maybe you have to look at your pricing. But yeah, look, on the other hand, I do understand that depending on the work or the shop that you're working in, some customers just don't want to pay. And that's just the reality of the world, you know. What do? You do you, baby. Most of the way there now. I'll go out, I'll hit bake, 10-minute bake straight away, and clean the gun out, mix up some clear. And then we've got to unmask the door jambs because we're going to be flow coating or clearing or blending the entire door jamb. So it's looking like I'm pretty much bang on with the material usage. So that was 2.4 litres of 527. So this clear here, if you're wondering, is the DC 527. DC meaning Deltron clear. 527 is a sprint clear, so it's a fast clear. That enables me to get the normal clear over the top nice and fast. Because once you've got this down, you still do have to give it a couple more coats of shiny or transparent clear. Just a layer that you can polish into and a protective layer. So yeah, 10-minute bake at 70 degrees, and I've used fast thinner, the 430 thinner. Nearly gonna run out, which is kind of perfect.
It's looking nice and clean, like no big black chunks of crap. Sometimes you can get that in the candy. If you get like a bit of dirt in your wet on wet or your base coat, then you put candy over it, they turn black. So we don't have any of them, well, not that I've seen yet. It can be easy to miss them occasionally, but especially on a full respray, there might be something down there that you just hasn't caught your eye. But that's about it, guys. Starter X 1.3 cc. Yeah, the clear coat, Starter cc. I'm going to be using, the Starter X when I clear this job up too, so stay tuned for that, guys. But yeah, we've got to peel off an extra layer of masking here and through here. We're going to clear the whole door jam. Nice thin coat. So we haven't introduced any excessive orange peel or anything. Colour looks good. Give you a quick look over here and we'll call that a vid, guys. Rightio guys, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.